this sheet apartment type and the sheets apartment and apartment adjustment. They are used to calculate presetting values for hydronic radiators in a water-based heating system. So if you don't have a water-based heating system, you don't have any use of these sheets at all. Before you can start entering information, like I've done here, to calculate the presettings, then you need to enter some information on the previous sheets. And I'm going to show you quickly the information that is needed at least. So I go to the sheet temp here. In this sheet you need to enter the lowest outdoor temperature for the location of the house in this cell. And on the sheet EW for exterior walls, the sheet floor, volume and roof, you need to enter the measurements and the U values of the whole house. On the sheet info, you need to select which type of ventilation the house has. This is the least amount of information you need to enter to be able to start calculating the presetting values. I return to the sheet apartment type. This house actually has 19 apartments, but it only has 5 different types of apartments. And that's what I need to enter on this sheet. Let's take a look at apartment type number 1. Here I've entered the name or the description of the apartment. And here I've chosen the floor type, where I have 2 selections, floor 1 to 3 or basement. That is taken from the sheet EW, where I entered the different floor types. So for example, you can see here that I entered the room height in meters. That is 2.3 meters for the basement, and the 3 floors, floor 1, 2, 3, the room height is 2.7 meters. So if I return to the apartment type sheet and I take a look at room 1 here, and I go with this arrow button to get further to the right in the same spreadsheet, I get to room 1. I can see that the room height has been inserted automatically here. I didn't fill it in. I can also see that the apartment in the basement has the room height 2.3 meters automatically filled in. This is because here in this cell I've chosen a different floor type than for the other apartment types. For the apartment type 1, 2 and 3 I've entered all the information. But for apartment type 4 I only entered the description of the apartment. And that we can see because there are no calculations completed for this apartment type. Apartment type number 4 is exactly the same as apartment type number 3. The only exception is that apartment type number 4 is at the top floor in the house and therefore has a ceiling towards a cold attic. So what we want to do now is to copy all the information from apartment type number 3 to apartment type number 4. And we can do that by, in this column, copy values from apartment type number, choosing number 3 here. And then you can read, all entered values for apartment type number 3 are copied to apartment type number 4. So press OK here. We can also see that the exactly same result of calculations is performed for apartment type 3 and 4 now. What we want to do now is to compensate for the ceiling towards the cold attic, and that we do in this column. So I choose ceiling here towards the cold attic, and immediately the water flow in liter per hour is changed into 42 instead of 35. Let's take a look at another example. The apartment in the basement only exists one time in the house, but it needs to be filled in at this sheet anyway. I've saved one room in this apartment type, that I not entered any values for. So let's do that together. Let's go to room 1. The first thing that I'm asked to enter is the length of the exterior wall, and that is 5.2 centimeters on my blueprint. The reason that I'm filling it in centimeters on my blueprint, that's because I specified that scale on the sheet EW. There are no second exterior wall at this room, so this cell I can leave blank. Then I can see that for the floor, the length has already been inserted. That's because it's copied from here. What I need to enter though is the width of the room, which is 3.1 centimeters. And then I can see that the square meters of the floor is calculated in this cell. What I can also see is that there has been no energy addition made in this cell in kilowatt hours per degree day. And there should be an addition there, because this apartment has floor on ground. So that's what I missed here, to choose floor here towards ground. If I go back to this room, I can see now that the U value automatically has been put in here, and that's the U value I specified on the sheet floor. Also, there is an addition made here now. So if I look at another room for the same apartment, the kitchen, then I can see that this U value for the floor has also been inserted here. The same goes for the apartments that are on the top floor. They have a U value and length and width automatically inserted because of what I've inputted in other cells. The last thing I want to show you is if you have several radiators in the same room. So let's go to the distribution in percent between radiators by clicking this button. So let's say in the kitchen of the apartment in the basement there are 2 radiators. Then I can, for example, input that I want 50% of the flow to go to radiator 1 and 50% of the flow to go to radiator 2. If I enter that here, then at the sheet apartment adjustment, where I get the presetting values, then the presetting values for this room will be reflected what I enter here. But now I undo these 2 steps, because that was all I wanted to show you from this sheet, apartment type.